a live show where you can ask the boss whatever you beep want. Stay tuned. We're going to do that right now. New kid on the block, Jared. Been with us for 3-4 weeks. Unleashed on Mark Novak. And being a live show, anyone else has got questions, let's go.
All right. Good morning, Mark. How was your night?
It's good. As good as it was. We did more. We did the. What was it called? Novak News at 8:30. Got home at like 9:30. Straight to bed.
Beautiful. Recharged for the next day.
Yeah.
All right. So, Mr. Mark Novak owns Novak Real Estate Agencies on the Northern Beaches. Tell us a little bit about that. What's your journey looks like so far? Sort of, what does a day-to-day look like of running such a high caliber agency? And then we'll ask and we'll talk about how you got to where you are today. You there? You froze. You back?
Try it again. We'll try it again.
We'll try it again. All right, Mark. So what does a day in the life of a real estate agency such as Novak take to run? What does your day look like?
So wake up in the morning at about 5:50. Alarm goes off at 5. I don't wake up. I think I snooze it about 7 times. And no joke. And then this morning went to the gym. Did back. Yeah, at the gym for an hour. Make coffees for Lise and me. Chit chat. And then 7:15 in the car. 7:30 in the car. And then do morning minutes. And then office by about 8:15.
Beautiful.
Do I need that much? Do we need that much? Do we need that much detail?
Yeah, it's good to know what you do in your mornings. It's good to see you getting up early. So real estate, you started in real estate when you were 18, right?
Yep.
18. So when you started in real estate, what were the things that you were doing to get yourself into a position where you could run such a high caliber agency? What did your structure look like to help progress you forward?
It was 3-foot throws. So it was literally do something that works, walk 3 foot, throw it again. Do something that works, walk 3 foot, throw it again. So it was like 3-foot throw, 3-foot throw, 3-foot throw. And just kept steps by step. So at 18, I was a receptionist. 17 when I started. I was a receptionist at Mona Vale Stacey First National, doing sort of phones, front desk, keys, leases, signboards.
Okay. And then, so from front desk, you went into sales associate.
So then I got fired, and the boss fired me for whatever reason, but the excuse he used made me feel really good.
And what was that excuse?
He said I was too good for the job.
Okay. So fired from First National.
I really held on to that.
So fired from First National, too good at the job. So you decided, if I'm too good at the job, then I'm going to do something more involved in real estate. And then your next step was?
So to get that job, I went to 130 real estate agencies on the Northern Beaches, and I got one. So then I was a bit worried about my next job because I was like, do I have to go to another 130 agencies again? And then I left, and in the newspaper was a job with Nick Fakop Real Estate in DY as rentals property manager.
Okay, so you started off in the property management division.
So I went in and saw Nick, and he said, no job for you. A week later, I saw it in the paper again. I went in again, and he said, no job for you. And I went in a third time, and he said, no job for you. And then a week later again, which is like 5 weeks, I went in, and his wife was there. And then she grabbed him, and he said, no job. And she goes, Nick, this is a lovely young boy. And I found out that he wanted a female for the role, not a male. That's why I kept saying no, but his wife, Joan, made Nick employ me. She was a lovely lady. Still is.
So it was the classic, dad says no, ask mum.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. So then I guess, so you started off in property management, which then started your career in real estate. So then I guess, what did your process look like? Because I know that you won an award early days in sales, top salesman on the Northern Beaches. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I was with Nick for about a year and a half doing rentals and sales with his son Andrew, and then he ended up teaching me sort of those good sort of sales processes. I went overseas. I couldn't get holidays, so I went from Nick. So I said, look, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go overseas. Came back, went to Harbord Real Estate with a guy called Brian and Matic, and had an absolute ball. Smashed it. Professionals group, 700 sales people in the country.
Wow. So is that like a franchise industry, or is that like something you've got going on here at Novak? Was a franchise.
It was a franchise called The Professionals. So they had I think over 100 offices and about 700 reps, maybe 200 offices, and then at the age of like 19, well, I was number one in the country in dollar value and volume.
Okay, so what did it look like for you to get there to dollar value and volume? What was your daily routine, or the routine that you tried to uphold to get those sorts of results?
Early to bed, early to rise, work hard, and advertise. So what it looked like was it was 7 days a week. It was, I guess, very cliche, like working real hard, really long hours, just working my guts out and doing what worked.
Okay. So I guess then, looking back from today, what do you think's changed now being the CEO of Novak?
Nothing. Probably the fundamental change, I should say one thing, was I went from 7 days in the office to 6 days in the office, and then still working a little bit on Sundays, but from home.
Okay. What do you think your biggest challenge is owning an office, managing an office?
People,
internal people or external?
Internal staff.
Okay, how do you manage those difficulties?
I don't. I really try though. I think back for more. I think that it's almost like you can't change other people, but you can change yourself. And I think I've become a lot more resilient, a lot more accepting. People don't want what you want, and realizing that made me a better manager, because my expectations were so high, ruthless, crazy, and it didn't sort of suit everyone. So it was really learning about people, what they really want, and helping them achieve their outcomes, which was then the business achieving its outcomes.
Okay, so it's a lot more about feeding ambition rather than leading from the back.
Yeah, well, we had a sesh yesterday, so Jared and I, everyone had a bit of a deep and meaningful yesterday in the office, and that's probably a perfect example, Jared, of when we sat down and what we discussed yesterday. It was very personal, and it was sort of pathways to to the next sort of the months, weeks, and years ahead, however you take it.
Yeah, for sure. 10, some people are happy being 6 out of 10. Okay. I like Lisa's comment.
Yeah. I think on the back of Lisa's comment, it was beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and where Lisa may say, look, that's a 6 out of 10 for someone, in their world, it's a 10 out of 10. So finding like-minded people that have those goals like yourself in your business is just great, because you can dream together.
Okay. What do you think, on that note and on the note of as a real estate agency owner, what drives you? What gets you going in the morning? What gets you hyped for the day?
Bucket list. So I've got a bucket list for my kids. I've got a bucket list for my wife. I've got a bucket list for myself, and I cycle through stuff on that, achieve stuff on personal and business goals on that, and that, I love that. That's my purpose. That's my love. Did I answer the question? Yeah.
Yeah, you got to love what you do too, right? You got to enjoy real estate. It's long hours. You live in.
Yeah. Look, I think you can find a beauty. I don't know, because I think you can find a beauty in everything. And look, I don't want to work. Like, I don't want to. Like, I want to just play with kids or grandkids and wife and travel, and we don't really work's hard. It's like going to the gym. Like, that at the gym you're like, but afterwards the hours and throughout the day, like, I'm really glad I did that. So I think that with whatever I did, I really do think it's an enabler to the rest of your life, that hard work and grit you put in, and doing. I don't know. I reckon I could pull off, and maybe I'm biased because I've been an agent for 30 years, but I reckon you could put me in most places and I'd sort of have a go and love it.
Okay. So work ethic over job role. It's your goals at the end of the day. It's what gets you going over what you're doing.
Yeah, finding solutions, challenges. I really enjoy that in anything, whether it's, and you probably see me around the office. Sometimes it's not always necessarily, unlocking the deals. Sometimes it's just making stuff work that doesn't work in the office. That's whether it's a machine or whatever it is. Like, I like helping people.
Like that printer, I still can't work out.
Like that.
Too good. All right, Mark. Well, I've pretty much run out of questions. What else have you got to add this morning?
Just on a personal note from yesterday with meeting with you, for everyone, Jared and I sat down and we went through sort of mapped out sort of your personal, business, financial and stuff like that. Keep an eye out on this guy. Really proud. And the thing that I left off saying with Jared is I still, it's the I think there's a beauty. Like, someone can upfront be smart, have a chart, do the job, But what I was saying to Jared yesterday is can you do it the next day, and the next month and the next year? And there's a real beauty in consistency, guys, out there, that if you can, and it's a beauty, but it's often masked by being boring, or monogamous. But that's your fault for not spicing it up along the way. That can be in business, that can be in a relationship, that can be with a car. Like I will have cars and I'll get bored and I'll do them up, or I'll get a monster service so they feel like they're brand new inside and out, and then I've got another year in the car. But I think there's the talent for someone like yourself is not just those days and months, but it's the enduring talent and the test of time, that you've got to do that in business.
Okay. I like it.
Am I talking in riddles?
No, not riddles. Not riddles. I understand it. I hope the viewers understand it.
Awesome. Hopefully we helped some people out there today. Yeah.
Hopefully some people got an understanding of where you came from and where you are now, and the sort of grit and work ethic that's involved in a successful agency, and what a little sneak peek into what real estate's like.
Awesome. Jared, thank you. It must be really hard getting up in front of a camera live when you're new to a business, and well done, mate.
Thank you.
See you guys. Take care.